Am I audible to everybody?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. प्रथमो हनुमन्नाम द्वितीयो भीम एव च पूर्ण प्रज्ञ तृतीयस्तु भगवत् कार्य साधकः ब्रह्मांता गुरवः साक्षादिष्टं दैवं श्रियः पतिः आचार्याः श्रीमदाचार्याः सन्तु मे जन्म जन्मनि. Today, with the blessings of Sri Madhwacharya, Sri Satyatma Tirtharu, and my father, I would like to share my views and ideas on the impact of artificial intelligence and how we can inculcate that and fuse that with the Bharatiya uh, tradition of imparting education. Today, all of us have actually been so much engrossed in the Western ways of learning things that we are, that is also one of the reasons for the confusion that we have in our minds today. We know some things are good, we know some things are bad, like what Duryodhana said once: Janami dharmam nachame pravrittihi, janami adharmam nachame nivrittihi. We know something is bad for us, but we are unable to leave that. We know what is good for us, but we are not able to progress towards that. All this has got roots in our education system and the way we have been tutored in our schools and in our entire process of getting educated. So I feel that the influence of artificial intelligence on the education system is inevitable. It will happen, it has to happen. Now it is only wise on our part to decide how to use it effectively. So can I request you to go to the first slide, please? Yeah. I say how our human mind is very much similar to a computer. We all know that a human mind is in many ways similar to a computer, which is nothing but a programmed and a conditioned entity. Like a computer, our mind also follows a set of routines. It all depends on the memory that has been recorded in our brains. So our human mind reacts or acts in a certain way because of the memory that is there. Some memory we carry from our purva janma, some memory is because of what we see, feel, and experience around us, and something which has been taught to us by our parents. So the mind is something which has rooted in the subconscious memory patterns that repeat themselves automatically, much similar to what an AI is about. So these arise from our childhood upbringing. These are also rooted in our genetics and karma, as I said earlier. And the memory patterns are enforced by our language, our education, which is why it is very important to have AI and fuse it with Madhwa philosophy. Media, it is also influenced by the media and the social interaction that we have on both personal and public levels. So over a period of time, our behavioral patterns crystallize within us, and this gives us an identity. This dominates our association. So many times these behavioral patterns can become more skilled and successful. They can also be negative as well. So now, how the artificial intelligence and the human mind are changing rapidly. We are entering a new era of technology with computers, with smartphones. We have everything on the click of a button hand. So what is that we want to see and feed our mind is something which we have to decide through our value based education system. Our high tech devices are promoting better education, better communication, better precise data and information. It is also helping many of us work from home, but these are only the practical benefits. These devices are also shaping our minds, our self image, our appearance, and even sometimes what we feel as a reality may in reality be a mithya. So all these confusions are there much more in the younger minds. Fortunately, we have few of them in this group who are listening to me now. These all promote the views, opinions, and ambitions of the people who program them. So artificial intelligence has the capability to take over our thinking capability. It is not just a convenience or not just a technology. It can shape the way we create our rhetoric, because we are spending more time in front of media screens. It can be television, it can be computer, it can be your smartphone or a tablet, whether it is for work, communication, or entertainment. But in this process, what we fail to understand is the state of our own minds. So, having a popular virtual image is becoming more important in our lives than being physically and mentally well. This is where I think our Madhwa philosophy has a big role to create this. The shift to an artificial intelligence based society is, according to me, the most dramatic social change since the industrial era, which is inevitable. It will happen. Now, how do we master the artificial intelligence? Now, is artificial intelligence new to India, new to Bharat? No, it is always there in India, but the only thing is we never used this terminology. Shri Madhav, can you please go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So we should here remember that artificial intelligence, though it's a new term which we have been hearing for the last decade or so, we should remember that our great rishis, our yogis, they were having the capability to merge their minds into cosmic intelligence, which was beyond the routine karmic compulsions of our human mind. So the rishis, what they used to do was they used to transform their mind by mantras, by the sound of by the vibrations of the sound, by the cosmic light of the nature, and they used to lift themselves beyond the time and space. The yogi who was in the wilderness, who was in the forest without any technology, by the power of his consciousness alone, he had the ability to experience an inner unity with the entire universe. So, this is the ultimate Vedic goal. That is what we call moksha, which liberates us from the karma, samsara, rebirth, and sorrow. So, the image of the ideal human being throughout the history of India, we should see it as a meditating yogi or our own saints of Madhva philosophy. What I would like to say here is artificial intelligence can help the younger generation today to achieving self realization. It can help us. We can also indoctrinate the values of our education system into the existing the current generation, which this knowledge that we have about our education system is more than thousands of years of old, which is the current technology is just few hundred years old, but the knowledge that we hold in India is not technologically based, it is time tested. Our great rishis and yogis have always been professing this. So it is always very, very important for us to have a extraordinary self discipline and selflessness. Today's education system that we have is only based on rote learning. This education is only helping children to score marks. But once the examination is over, within 2 to 3 days, children forget what they have written in the examination. Children do not carry the knowledge of what they have learnt in the schools. This is very harmful to the society because we are passing our examinations only to score marks and get an entry into a next level of college or into a job. Once we get a job, none of us, I'm sure, we have even opened our mark sheet to see what was the marks, how much we scored in our examination, how much, which subject was something which was interested to me. We are all routinely so busy in our Excel files and Microsoft PPT that our education system, I think, has collapsed. It has only become a tool to get a job. But we are also now in a trap, as Sri Anil Harihar always says, we are in a trap of making a livelihood. We are not living our life. We are not using our body for sadhana. This is possible only when we work towards self realization. That self realization is possible when this technology is used to help our children understand the value based education system of India. Today's schooling system is heavily influenced by what people in other countries or people following other faith want us to listen, want us to understand. Every day Yesterday's Madhwa Shakha was very, very insightful. People are attacking the very essence of our beliefs. People are attacking like prasada. Prasada is something which we always consume with our eyes closed. We bow in front of the god and we consume it without looking at who prepared it. What is the ingredient? It has come from a priest. It is holy for us. And now even that is adulterated, even that is contaminated. This is all because of the education system that we have. And who has adulterated it? It is one among those people who are following Sanatana Dharma only, or who claim to be following Sanatana Dharma. This is because there is no value in the current education system. And I feel the artificial intelligence today can help us in creating this higher intelligence. It can connect us back to our Vedic ways of learning. It can connect us back to Madhva philosophy. It can create a self awareness in it. So, regardless of AI and its inevitable development, what we need to understand is the true nature in consciousness. We are not just a body or a mind. We are a boundless light of consciousness. This is something which we have to pass on to the younger generation. The entire universe is within us. We don't have to bow down to any influence which is coming from outside. So understanding our inner being can help us. And I don't want each one of us to become a yogi. But yogi has got a very broad definition. What AI can help us is we can control our what is that being fed into our mind. AI should not control us. We should not be controlled by the technology, and it cannot be used as a substitute for direct awareness or spontaneous creativity. I will still feel that AI can only be as good as or as bad as we want it to be. So the human mind, the human consciousness is always going to be superior than any AI. AI can only help us in doing the repetitive tasks for which there is a memory. As I earlier said, in our childhood, we behave in a certain pattern because of the memory that is stored in our mind, because either because of what we see and being fed, what our child parents have told, what our teachers have told, and what we carry from our previous birth. This is all AI can do. But we can do much more than AI when we realize our trueness, and this is possible through the help of our philosophy. This is where I think this generation of parents, like what we have a right choice. We have an ability to make a right choice, to use the technology, to use the AI, to help our children, to help our offspring know about our Vedic sciences. Vedic sciences need not be only the literature that we are carrying for thousands of years. It can also be yoga, it can be Vedanta, Ayurveda, Jyotishya, Vastu. Even knowledge of Sanskrit itself can address in adaptation and transcendence of the new technology. Bharatiya Ramana Mukhya Pranantargata Shri Krishna Arpanam. Thank you so much.
Anybody want to give any inputs, please? Pavan, Rohit, or Suresh?
So if you
Okay,
don't mind,
over
I have a
to
couple of points. One is we always know that there are four types of sharira that we come with. One is our Swarupa Deha, and then Linga Deha, and then we have our Aniruddha Deha, and then Stula Deha, right? And till our liberation, the up to Aniruddha Deha, all three will be there. We go with that. So Aniruddha Deha is something which will carry all the karma phalas and karma history and karma knowledge from one janma to another janma. So now that will make us to do good or bad. So if we train our Aniruddha Deha by praying Lord Aniruddha to control addictions of these bad stuffs and then using right thing for right purpose, so then definitely even in our next generation, when we take another birth, the life will be much more better than how the way how things are becoming worse today. So the entire AI stuff in human body, God has put, means in any of these body that we take is been compressed into Aniruddha Deha by Lord. Such a innovative stuff that already there. And if we know how to use our Aniruddha Deha, we win a lot with this particular Sthula Sharira. If not, we'll be losing a lot of things. So that is what Rishi Munis and all will be like going inside and then trying to find out the capabilities and then establish those for doing good for not only for them, for even entire world. So yeah, that is something which I wanted to just say. And then another point just I wanted to add is many of the things are coming in the world with the business benefits. So let us keep these for business benefit only. For example, I use AI tool or any other different tools that are available just to make myself productive so that I can spend less amount of time on my job by doing same thing with the tools and technologies and not take those tools and technology into my personal life for anything. So so that we can get some more time for doing our sadhana with those tools. Otherwise, if we become slave for tools, we lose even though that sadhana also. Yeah, that's all.
I really agree with you. There is nothing more than that can be said in this. And as we always say that the samatva and santulana, these have to be maintained in our personal lives. And I recently read an article where somebody told that I am a writer and I want to focus more on writing. So I want the artificial intelligence to help me in doing my routine work, like cleaning the house and washing my utensils. But what is happening is AI is taking over my work of writing, and I am doing cleaning the work and washing utensils. So the utilization of AI is going in the wrong direction. And what I wanted to convey in this today's small speech was that AI has become omnipresent now, and sooner or later we will be having certain tools in AI which can be used, because what we see on our hand phone several times in a day, even if it is a lie, when a lie said 100 times is perceived to be truth. That is what some politicians are using it in India. So when we have the technology, why can't we use AI in in giving this information to the children, like whatever is said in our philosophy, what Sri Madhvacharya preached, can that be used with the help of AI? We can reach the younger generation, so that why we say that should be a uddesha purna jivan. That uddesha purna jivana is possible only when the values are told to the children, whether it is told by the seniors or by some algorithms of the AI. I think the technology can help us in this, and make us more aware of the purpose of our existence.
The AI as on today, um, it can process the data which has been given to it, and the data, if you see the history of the data, is like 1,000 years, not even 1,000, it may be 100 years, only that data is being fed. But if we see the data which is there in our DNA, the genes, the data. So the enormous data is there, which is is processed by our consciousness. That is nothing but our natural the natural intelligence. So with that consciousness, right, we can use the in a very purposefully, with the right, for the right purpose, we can use the AI. From that perspective, if you see now what will going to happen with this in coming 5-10 years, what we can think of. So the AI will going to penetrate in everywhere, and the data which has been fed to the system, that will be processed and it will be given. But that process, the data is been whichever whatever the fed is, right, that might be a biased one. or it may not be a complete one. So for the if you see, the what exactly the definition of reading a book or reading a subject. So if you see, it's not simply a reading. Reading is actual physically reading, understanding it, and practicing it. Then once again, if you're not understood properly, once again going back, reading, understanding, and then practicing it. Then only the real yathartha jnana or the true knowledge can be exist. So this ultimately, if we see the today's trend AI, so it can help us, uh, help us to get the common sense or conclusions very quickly, at least for the data which has been fed for 100 years. So it definitely it reduces our efforts in education, health, our political systems, or any subjects if you take on the earth. So it will reduce at least, for the new generation, they can conclude better. They can conclusions or summary they can read easily, and ultimately it will end up what they can practice it, means to access the right knowledge, or to have the good health, good education, good knowledge, right knowledge, all these things they can spend more time on the practicing. Definitely the AI will going to help us to summarize. The only the next generation has to focus on practicing it. If it is a,
Yes.
if they think it's a right summary or right, they can they, if they are getting convinced, then they should practice it. The focus will be for the next generation should be more in practicing. It may be a meditation, yoga, pranayama, or any school education, science, maths, anything. It'll come down to the common sense will be, they can get easily, but practice is the main focus. That's what my input.
Correct. I fully agree and support what you said, Anil. So, no, only Shravana does not help. Only Manana does not help, because bhakti will gradually develop only when Shravana and Manana are accompanied by Kriya. We have to also follow this. And I think what you and Madhav Rao said, I fully support. It's very, very apt.
Another thing that I find as very negative effect of all this AI is it will start developing another layer on top of us. Right now we are already having 4 layers that God has given, which we cannot avoid. Now we are adding couple of more layers. One is this social media, another one is all this AI. So slowly AI will take over and start making us some decisions. As Anil told, definitely it's the data that you feed will come out as a biased output. So that makes our next generation to think less, become more means less powerful, as how we have already seen. So the day by day, the quality of life, the dignity, abilities of human beings are reducing. So that is the whole thing. So that everything is under business control only. So nothing under our
Yeah.
control.
Yeah, over to Shrish.
Sir, 1 minute, sir. I have one point. Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead,
Am I
sir.
audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Please go ahead.
So, what I thought is, when we use AI, so usually we search for something, Shastra or uh, any material in internet. So we cannot find something referred to or somewhat. For example, if we write in sloka we search for sloka in internet, so we find a sloka and it doesn't have any reference to this sloka is taken from that, so in that type of grantha it doesn't mention that. So what I say try to say that if we some software engineers who are taking classes of Madhva Shastras and all, simultaneously they are working as a software engineers too. They they try to feed correct data and shlokas, that after that we find something, it is taken from this Madhva Shastra, or this is referred to some Mahabharata or a Ramayana, that shloka has been derived from, yeah, we are taken from that type of data. If we feed to AI, so then interpretation of what we call the the said that whenever we say 100 times a lie 100 times, it becomes truth. So that type of sentences, or that type of data we can reduces, and will get an original source in what do you call, we they are get what where we derived from, or where we has taken this from, so that whenever our this 10 year after 10 years, or some after a year or 10 years, if we find that type of same data, so that we can abolish this type of life, so that the main grantha, or the whatever the source we have taken from, it will be encrypted in that, so that we can eliminate this false data for upcoming generations, sir.
Yeah, some sort of efforts is, I think, is already there. Uh, but as many I spoken with the scholars, right, Madhwa scholars, uh, they say that uh, with the Guru Charana, means we have to study if we need a yathartha jnana, or right knowledge, we have to study along with being with the staying with
Like,
the Guru itself. That's what
correct,
they
correct.
said. Definitely, as at least as a middle path, and as in this juncture, we may have we can have that kind of database where at least the references, right information can be fed to the system.
Exactly, sir. And just now, the Chaturmasya, they had developed very, what do you call, systematic arrangements and all these programs, particularly. It is well conducted, and it is well directed. There also are the scholars who are working at software engineers, and both they are taking teachers from what Thadimata and all these things. They are uh, coordinately working on that. So it is not just an 6 months project or a 1 year project. So it might take some years together, but we can find and right step towards that pure databases for younger generations. That's my idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I remember two things because of this. One is we should till then we should find out a guru who doesn't use AI and ML to teach us, so that
Oh,
they are themselves preferring something wrong and then they are teaching. Second thing is, we used to wonder, like, okay, how the Rakshasa called as Hayagriva, he has stolen Vedas, right? During that time. So how did he do it? Now AI/ML is also like working as that um, Hayagriva Rakshasa to steal real meaning, which is Vedas. So we need to protect it.
sorry.
Yeah.